Ready, set, art. So I'm going to show you how to do simple marbling paper. I use a really quick method. It's this from this brand right here. I love it. It's great for the classroom, mostly because it goes a long way. It might seem pricey at first, but the thing is, material-wise, all you need is this ink and plain water, and it works really, really well. So I have my water set up, ready to go. I'm using cold water. It actually does make a difference. You'll see why in a moment. And then here's my colored set, so you can see blue, red, black, orange, yellow, green. I'm going to say black for something else you'll see later. I like to use this for a project. It's a marble cutout project. It's on my website, www.caroline, and you will see marbled paper, marbled cutout under beginning art, and there's this really cool assignment with that. So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, sets up like droplets, and I'm putting in, I guess, 7 there. You don't need a lot. You don't squeeze out the whole bottle, but you need enough on the surface to actually cover the paper, unless you want some of the white to show through, right? All right, that was about 5. And you can see if you're just looking, some of the color instantly drops to the bottom, right? The pigment is heavier than the water, so it's naturally going to drop a little bit. Let's go on to orange. So you don't have to use all of the colors, but for demonstration purposes, I am. Last one will be green. All right, there we go. That looks good. Then to stir it around, and you don't want to overstir it, of course, because the color needs to stay on the surface, right? If you overstir it, it naturally just, the color sinks to the bottom, and you won't have that cool marbling effect. I'm just gonna, it already kind of looks nice and marbled right now, but I'm gonna gently stir the surface. Okay. Maybe a few spirals here and there. All right, nice. It's fun to do this in class. At first, when kids see this, they're not that excited by it, but when the paper flips over, then they're excited. All right, I usually keep 2 pieces of paper towel to the side, right over here, so that I can put my paper there when I'm done. All right, so here's my paper. I'm just using regular old computer paper. I'm going to shape it like a horseshoe to drop it down. All right, and then that way it's kind of avoiding air bubbles. Drop, press. It's going to start to peel up a little bit. It doesn't need to stay on too long. And ta-da, marbled paper. I love it. I'm going to stick it right over here. Now, how often does this go for? I would say it's good for about 3 pieces of paper. After that, it's overly stirred, and you start over. Here's one example of just a few colors. It's still drying, right? Very strong on that pink. Now, I mentioned cold water before. I don't know why, but if you use warmer water, it doesn't seem to mix as well, and you will have these little white pockets everywhere. Now, you may want that look, and if you want that look, then guess what? You need to have warm water in there to get this kind of speckled look. So if you want this look, use warm water, which is what I did. If you don't want that look, maybe then you would have to do something else. All right, so I want to show you what it looks like when you use colored paper. So this is kind of a light blue cardstock. I'm using this. This is for another assignment that I have. This assignment is for when we try to mimic turquoise jewelry. So as you know, if you've ever seen the mineral turquoise, it has these like black cool swirls in it. These little swirls. There's some white pockets here, and that's mostly because I had used warm water before. This is what it looked like when I used the white paper. There's the white pockets, okay? So I have this project that is inspired from Native American turquoise jewelry with the silver. That one you can also look up under Intermediate Art, www.caroline. All right, so I have to start over. I'm going to dump this. I'm going to dump that. You can stare at that while I get the water. Okay? Stare at that while I get the water. It has to be fairly clean. The water only needs to be about a thumb high. them high. Almost there, and that looks good. All right. I find so far for middle school, kids are fine doing this kind of project on their own. I don't need to stand by the sink and watch them do this. I don't have to like do the colors for them and drop it in. Yes, there's some that will just overkill it, but that's very few. That's just part of learning. So I just make sure to buy a few extra sets in case they do that. All right, so this time to do that turquoise look, I need blue and black. Now you may think, well, why don't you just do black if you have a colored background already? I found that if I don't use a second color, it doesn't swirl, the black does not swirl as well, but you can try it out. It ends up being too much black. So I'm going to go ahead, put in the blue. That was about, looked like 7 drops. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in the black. All right, that was a lot of black. All right. If you think it's too much, it doesn't hurt to add a few more blue, right? Especially if there's other students. Sometimes they end up pairing up, or they'll come up as a group and they'll just share one of these to get their one piece of marbled turquoise paper. So I'm not over stirring it because otherwise it gets all too mixed up and then you'd have to start over. I'm going to horseshoe this paper, drop it in, and then lift it up. And look, there's my cool looking turquoise paper that I can cut out from and do my cool turquoise jewelry design. So I'm going to put that to the side. If you want to see what this looks like with white paper, this is how this piece came out, right? This is when I used the hot water. The hot water made it so it was white in certain spots, but you know, if that's something you want, you could do the same thing. All right, that's Marbling 101. Thank you and good luck.